in prayer, and that who has been you know, benefactor, pillar of whatever success we have achieved, will continue to be with us and be with us throughout this.
Looks like we lost Engineer Lower there.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, carry on.
Okay. So I just did the opening prayer. I hope everybody had that. So not to waste our time, Last Mega and Last Come Alumni Association and all professionals to this virtual lecture. It is an honor to welcome our guest speaker as well, someone who is well known to us, Honorable Abdulakim Abdulatif, the former Honorable Commissioner in Lagos State in charge of Home Affairs, aware of his expertise in Islam. Besides this, we will also be having a health and technology tips, okay, from Dr. Taiwo Zainab and Ustaz Ismail Abdulhamid. My brothers and sisters and everyone who is here this morning, we're all aware, most importantly, in our nation, Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that is well endowed, and we thank Almighty Allah for what He has done for this great nation. Nigeria is one country that has a very large population. Nigeria has the fifth largest population of Muslims in the world. So that speaks to the fact that the role of Islam cannot be overemphasized in our nation politics, in our economy, and in everything that we do. We also know that in Nigeria, despite our huge population, Nigeria is not an Islamic state by constitution. So because we also have the Christians who also have significant population in this country. So in many historical periods, Islam has served as a source of unifying force, as in the case, notably in providing this to organize politics and our society. So this country counts Islam. So it is important for us to begin to find a nexus between Islam and, the workings of the Nigerian nation. And so because of the fact that for some of us who have been around for over 4 decades, and even for the younger generation, you will agree with us that a lot of things are missing. There are missing links. And so where there is this missing link, we are more than convinced that Islam will be a major alternative to providing those links. And so what would be, our focus this morning is to see how we can bring the Islamic ideology to bridging the gaps that, we're talking about. Okay. And to do that for us, we believe that we have a very, very intelligent, as senator, having participated in various, governments since, democracy in Nigeria. In a commissioner, is a special advocate of this in terms of his expertise in the religion of Islam is also, somebody that is well equipped, and we believe that he will be able to do that justice this morning. So at this junction, I'd like to welcome our distinguished scholar, Dr. Abdullah.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Do you see our brother?
Hello, moderator.
Brother Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Yeah, moderator, did you I got this. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, hello, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Did you hear my closing in my opening and welcome my brother?
Looks like
Assalamu alaikum.
Looks like it's breaking up.
Assalamu alaikum, Kaka.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
Commissioner will join us in by 9:20. By 9:20. So if we want to put another before then, we can go ahead. Join us by 9:20.
Okay, thank you for the information. Are we still, please, if we're not speaking at the moment, please can we kindly unmute our mics, please? Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Allah. Brother Allah, are you still with us?
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We can hear you now.
Yeah, it looks like he has finished his opening speech and the opening drawer. So we might want to move on to other.
Okay, salam alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam.
The moderator. Yeah, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure if your line's a bit it's breaking a bit. So I just wanted to be sure you finished. Okay, I think we should just all right. We thank our brother Abdullah Allah. We kind of struggled a bit hearing some of what he was trying to communicate with us. Without wasting time, I just want to call Dr. Bello Shamsuddin to give us a short recitation from the Quran. Dr. Bello, kindly unmute your mic, please.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
Yes, I am here, but
Can I go ahead, please?
Yeah, please go on. Please go ahead. Please go on.
Now, inshallah, I'll be reciting from Surah An-Nur, which is Quran chapter 24, verse 55. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعد الله الذين آمنوا منكم وعملوا الصالحات ليستخلفنهم في الأرض كما استخلف الذين من قبلهم وليمكنن لهم دينهم الذي ارتضى لهم وليبدلنهم من بعد خوفهم أمنا يعبدونني لا يشكرون بي شيئا ومن كفر بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الفاسقون. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. So translation. Allah has promised those among you who believe and work righteous deeds that He will of surety grant them in the land inheritance of power, as He granted it to those before them, that He will establish in authority their religion, the one which He has chosen for them, and that He will change their states after the fear in which they lived, to one of the security and peace. They will worship Me alone and not associate aught with Me. If anyone do reject faith after this, then they are rebellious and wicked. Sadaqallahu Mawlana al-Azim.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan. Yeah, we thank our brother for the recitation from the Quran. May Allah accept it an act of ibadah for you. Our rapporteurs today would be Ustaz Shunibari Tohib and Engineer Samia Thompson. They will be responsible for taking notes of salient points during the lectures and, to give us a bit of context again to the lectures by the Ustaz, our Honorable Abdulatif, who we expect in a few minutes. I just want to also inform us that this program is also running on YouTube. And also, as the lectures go on, we would want you to kindly put in your questions, send it into the chat box, or we'll raise our hands and would connect with you once it's time for that. I think it's just about 2 minutes. Okay, just about a minute more for the guest lecturer to join us. Let's just give him a minute. Let me see if he's.
Can we go to health tips?
Okay.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, I think can we start with the technology tips if they are ready? We just have a little bit of sorting out the tips, just a few seconds. Can we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we'd like to call on Brother Ustad.
I think he has someone. I think he has joined.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Dr. Abdulatif appears to be around now. Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz Abdul Hakim.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Oh, thank you. Alhamdulillah. Welcome for joining us. Without wasting much of time, we would like you to have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, so I missed. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, I missed the introductory part. Please, I would like to know what your plans are with respect to this lecture, so that will guide the kind of discussion I'm going to have with you. Like what's the objective of choosing Islam and politics?
Okay, so basically, our chairman made us understand that with Islam being a major religion in Nigeria, having Muslims, the third highest number of Muslims in the world, the need for politics and in engaging in politics, as well as our religion and how we should go about it. Given that you have a lot of experience in this realm, I feel that we'll be able to benefit from your wealth of experience.
Okay. Okay, it's all right. May Almighty Allah reward you and every other person. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inna alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkal alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fa huwa al-muhtadi wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu waliyyan murshida. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My brothers and sisters, I pray that Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward your effort for this giant step you have taken to further discuss a very crucial topic. Of course, just as you just said, Nigeria as a country, or the world generally, is besetted by myriads of problems, myriads of challenges. There's a difference between Allah's induced trials and our self-induced trials. So if you have faith in Qadar, which is a fundamental article of our faith, that you believe in destiny. Of course, even as medical practitioners, you know that there are situations that are ordained by Allah, and there are situations that people have deliberately brought upon themselves. So it is not in all situations that we all are going to say, that is how Allah wants it. That's how Allah wants it. It's a lazy talk, and intellectual discourse like this would try to separate and distinguish between the problems, the challenges we have, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed to be our challenges, and the ones that we have deliberately added onto it for ourselves. In the first place, Allah governs. So when you talk about politics, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the political controller of the world. He says this in Quran chapter 67, verse 1. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Tabarakallazi biyadi al-mulk wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. He said, blessed is he, Allah, in whose hand is power, in whose hand is authority. So he has power in his hand, he has authority in his hand. And if you care to be interested in the nature of governance around the world, who do we govern? We govern human beings created by Allah. So Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of what you govern. You who intend to govern, you are created by Allah. What you will use to govern in terms of your intellect and your organs, they are things created by Allah. What you are going to govern in terms of the land, the seas, the sky, the airways, everything is created by Allah. You have someone appointed as Minister of Agriculture. Almighty Allah asked in Surah Al-Waqiyah, Afaraytum ma taruzun. Have you reflected over what you plant, what you cultivate and harvest? Antum tazra'unahu am nahnu zari'un. Truly speaking, are you the farmers? Am I not the farmer? Allah Akbar. Which means Almighty Allah governs the process of cultivation, the process of germination, the process of harvest, the process of processing it until it becomes a finished product. So Allah is in charge. Somebody is appointed as commissioner for water resources. Ask them, you want to govern water? Almighty Allah asks us again in Surah Al-Waqiyah, أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ الْمَاءَ الَّذِي تَشْرَبُونَ. Have you reflected over the water that you drink? أَأَنْتُمْ مَنْزَلْتُمُوهُ مِنَ الْمُزْنِ. Are you the one that brought it down? What I'm saying in essence is that everything is a creation of Allah. So if he has the power to create, he is automatically entitled to govern what he has created. He's the minister of iron and steel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a chapter on iron, and Allah says in Quran chapter 57, وَالَّذِي وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِيهِ بَأْسٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ. I brought down the iron. It is for your benefit. That's the summary. So, which means that Almighty Allah would not have created all this and said nothing about politics. So, the whole essence of the Quran is to guide us how to exercise delegated authority. The main authority is with Allah, but Allah has further delegated the authority to you as a human being, you as a brother, you as a sister, to further govern what Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So I'm also going to start from looking at leadership. So leadership is so important that if you ask what is the first problem in Nigeria, it is leadership, and give birth to the second problem, it is followership. So it is not about corruption. Corruption is not the problem. The problem is leadership. The problem is followership. And then what gave birth to these two problems? Because the two problems, they have to do with human beings. Nigeria has no problem, for instance. Nigeria as a country has no problem. I'm mentioning Nigeria because that is the common thing to all of us. Nigeria has no problem. Nigeria is one of the most blessed nations in the world. Nigeria remains a blessed nation up till today. And the resources that Allah has given Nigeria, many countries do not have. Unfortunately, the story of Nigeria is that of a very, that of a well-equipped hospital. I want to use something that you can relate with. A well-equipped hospital with all facilities available, with all the medications available, unfortunately, has the most unqualified doctor to run it. So a doctor that refused or that refuses to follow the manual, a doctor that refuses to follow the guideline, you will see that this hospital, no matter how well established it is, will never achieve its purpose. So, and I always use that of a vehicle too. You have a brand new vehicle, brand new tires, brand new engine. Everything about this vehicle is state of the art. Unfortunately, it has a very bad driver. It will never get to its destination. It's either the driver is not complying with the road signs, or the driver is not even qualified to drive, so he does not care about being licensed, and so on and so forth. So that's the story of Nigeria. And that's what Allah tells you. Allah says, La tufsidu fil ardi ba'da islahiha. Do not destroy the land after I have set it right. Allah means that if you look at how he governs, let's look at how Allah governs. Look at the heaven. Sorry. There's no light, so it's part of the topic. Alhamdulillah. So if you look at the heavens, the bodies of planets, and you look at the sky, you look at the earth, you look at the moon, you look at the sun, don't you observe some peace and orderliness in the way they operate ever since you were born? That tells you that Allah's perfection is 100%. It's perfection. Everything follows the rules. Everything follows Allah's dictates. It's regulation. And that's why human beings are able to live in peace under it, because those ones have obeyed Allah, and if maintain the instructions of their Lord. If the sun were to disobey Allah and it comes down, we will all be dead. If the rainfall disobeys Allah and does not stop when it is asked to stop, none of us will exist. If the earth opens up, if Allah says, I've used the mountains as pegs, to hold it firmly so that it does not shake under you. What I'm saying in essence is that we have benefited from the governance of Allah. But where we have failed is the delegated authority. What do I mean by delegated authority? When Allah created you, Allah created all your systems: excretory, respiratory, reproductive, every system in your body. Almighty Allah created it without your knowledge. And he also governs it without your knowledge. But yet he has given you some responsibilities. Those are the delegated responsibilities. That if you do not do this, it may impair your respiratory organ. If you do this, it may affect your reproductive organ. So that's why he has not left us unguided. I hope you will find this introductory part very relevant to the topic before I actually enter into it. So then he brought the Quran, brought this book, the Quran, and it tells you that, you know what? This is the book of governance. This is the book of politics. You want to know how to govern? Okay, follow it. Quran 20, verse 123 to 125. If you follow it, you will govern well. But if you fail to follow it, you will experience a calamity. And you listening to me, my brothers, my sisters, when I say leadership is a problem, we are the problems. Why is leadership a problem to you as a person? Each of us, before planning to even contest election, to become councillor or honorable, that is, that's not the first thing. It is the fact that you have been appointed by Allah as a commissioner of your body, as the minister of your body, as the governor of your body. So if you lead, that's why leadership comes. We have given you your mouth, for instance. This mouth, subhanallah, is a trial. Okay, so I give you the book so that you can lead this mouth, lead your tongue, be a leader of the tongue to something that will make your life prosperous. There's a way you can use it that will lead to prosperity. And there's a way you can use your tongue, it will lead to adversity. So when we give you the tongue, I've just mentioned one out of thousands of cells in our body, or millions. Every other thing, the one you can control. So who is the leader of the tongue and who is a mere follower of the tongue? You all can guess. Who is a leader of his or our own tongue, and who is a follower of his or our own tongue? The leader of the tongue is you, who determines what you say before it is said, who controls your tongue to comply with the manual. If you are able to control your tongue to comply with the manual, which is the Quran, and comply with the model, that is Muhammad, you have the manual and the model. You cannot accept the product and reject the manual. A very relevant profession is the medical profession. Doctors would take a piece of drug, a medication, and look at what is written on it. Why? Because he does not know. There is no one who knows. Everyone relies on the explanation by the maker of a product. So the maker of the product explains, sorry, this is chloroquine. This is made up of the following combinations. It is good for this ailment. Anyone who follows it will have this result. Danger, direction as to use. Keep out of the reach of children. Pregnant women should not use it. Look at instruction. That's the manual. Then, in a situation where you want to misinterpret the manual, you send the model. And model is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at what, and say, what is his character? Say his character is Quran. Anybody who opens his mouth in a way that is different from what is commanded by the manual and lived by the model. And the moment somebody opens his mouth anyhow and says anything anyhow, he's not qualified to be a leader because he has not succeeded in even leading his own tongue. So what did Allah say about the tongue? Allah will tell you, why do you say what you have not done? So anytime you want to open your mouth to talk, the first thing you should do is it the truth? Is it the truth? So somebody who wants to venture into politics as a leader, we want to remind him, have you succeeded in leading yourself? Because if you have not succeeded in leading yourself, you cannot lead any other. Leading yourself is, I say only what is true. I do not use it. It says in Surah Al-Hujurat, when anybody brings any story to you, investigate. Don't start spreading what you don't know about. That's still about the tongue. He also tells you, you cannot use it to make jest of anybody. You can't laugh at anybody. You cannot laugh at the challenges of people. You cannot backbite, still using the tongue. So when you write those things that the tongue is meant to do and what the tongue is not meant to do, your ability to ensure that the tongue does only what it should do is what qualifies you as a leader. Otherwise, you should remain a follower because you are still following yourself. And the same thing I've said is with every other organ of our body. So I hope you take that message from me in respect of self-leadership, self-leadership. So when people want to argue with you about politics, so people they will just argue blindly. What's politics? Leave politics, Gary. Let's talk about Islam, as if Islam is capable of being separated from politics. Islam is life. It's your entire life. So everything that you do in this world is governed by Allah. Yes, I can tell you about Islam and the economic system in Islam. I can tell you about Islam and the military, security, Islam and politics, Islam and social, a lot of things, Islam and the family. Allah says, I have not left anything unsaid in this book. So don't even waste your time when you see people saying, why are Muslims going into politics? You see that they are Muslims without knowledge. So you cannot compare them with yourself because you are a Muslim based on knowledge and you seek further knowledge with more. As I am, I must continue to learn and learn till I enter my grave. So that's the beauty of Islam. It covers everything. So let's now go to Islam and politics, and also to let us know that what led to the problems in the world is exactly what we have explained: leadership or followership. Allah wants to explain to us, and let's start with Quran 30 verse 41. Quran 30 verse 41. Surah Rum. Allah says, Zahra al-Fasad. Subhanallah. Allah Akbar. Zahra al-Fasad fil bar wal bahr bima kasabat aydin nas. You see problems everywhere in the world. Kidnapping, underdevelopment, corruption, bribery, this and that, lack of job. It is from what human beings have caused. Allahu Akbar. Quran 30 verse 41. It is from what human beings have caused. Bima kasabat aydin nas. Everything is happening because of what you have brought about. Allah says, not me. I am not the one. I didn't do it. If you see embezzlement, you see corruption, and you see kidnapping, you see abduction, you see killing, people killing their parents, committing patricide, committing matricide, killing their mother, committing fratricide, killing their own brothers, committing sororicide, killing their own sisters, committing infanticide, killing children, or genocide, killing the nation, is from what your hands have caused. What did Allah say? Allah says, I just want you to have a taste of the evil consequences of your disobedience to me, so that you can now see. If somebody is giving money for 100 people. He decided to embezzle it. So only himself and his family spend the money. So the other 99 people, Allah Akbar, they become idle. Because they are idle, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. Very good. So that man that stole the money, thinking that he will enjoy, they think that they will enjoy. Oh, you know what happened to them? The 99 people who have been abandoned, who are now idle, whose hands now is the devil's workshop, will make life miserable for that man. So the money you stole, you won't be able to spend. So you had the story of Boko Haram's abduction in Nigeria and everything. Just read Quran 30, verse 41. The other verse you read is Quran 16, verse 112. Quran 16, verse 112. 16, verse 112. If it's not the correct verse, please point my attention so that I try to correct it. But I think it's Quran 16, verse 112. Allah talks about a township. I'll give you the example of a township, that I blessed so much. But they disregarded my law. So what did I do? I now wear for them the garment of hunger and insecurity. In fact, if you read that verse, you will almost like write the name of Nigeria in front of that verse. Definitely, this verse is talking about Nigeria. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا قَرْيَةً كَانَتْ آمِنَةً مُطْمَئِنَّةً يَأْتِيهَا رِزْقُهَا رَغَدًا مِنْ كُلِّ مَكَانٍ فَكَفَّرَتْ بِأَنْعُمِ اللَّهِ الله أكبر وَأَذَاقَهَا اللَّهُ لِبَاسَ الْجُوعِ وَالْخَوْفِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ. A township that look, in terms of climate, Nigeria has the best, not too cold, not too hot, in terms of weather, in terms of rainfall, in terms of agricultural land, in terms of wealth, in terms of human beings. But what happened? Why are we suffering now? It's because of our disobedience to Allah. So what is the way out? Quran 13, verse 11 is the way out. Quran 13, verse 11. In the middle of the verse, you see a verse. It says, Inna Allah la yugayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yugayyiru ma bi anfusihim. You can be reading here saying, Sawa can be praying that, oh Allah, let the condition be better. Allah says it will never be better until you change your ways. So part of changing the way is talking about a topic like this. What are the current challenges in Nigeria? We can list it. Yes, corruption, go ahead. Everybody talk about it. Insecurity, maladministration, joblessness, drug addiction, drug abuse, poverty, lack of contentment, selfishness, winners take all, different things. At the end of the day, no peace of mind. So there is general insecurity. Even the legal system has failed. When somebody owes you now, you don't know how to get your money in Nigeria, because he will give the lawyer money, he will give the police bribe, he will give the judge bribe. So where do you go from there? So we need a holistic approach. We need the injection into the system of righteous people. So you need to participate to rescue the nation. And we now come to the next challenge. Those who believe that Muslims have nothing to do with politics. In fact, there's one hadith of the Prophet they quickly quote. The Prophet said, anybody who seeks power, Allah will not help him. But anybody who does not seek it, Allah will give him. Is that how you became a doctor? You did not seek. You don't know doctor is power. Instead of them to understand that we don't understand this hadith very well. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, power did not come to him. Power is never served a la carte. You know, a la carte is you sit down, you say, yeah, bring it, then they'll bring it to your house. No, power is not served that way. You must go get it. You must ask Allah for it. Look, Allah even asks us to pray. Look, one prayer is in Quran 23, Quran 25, verse 74. Surah Al-Furqan, where the popular prayer, oh Allah, make our wives, our children, the comfort of our eyes. Alladhina yaquluna rabbana hablana min azwajina wa zurriyatina qurrata ayun. What is the next statement? Waja'alina lil muttaqina imam. Oh Allah, make us leaders. for the righteous. Make us leaders. That's one. Islam also support, and of course, you know that nothing will be in the Quran if it's not relevant for us. You can contest. When you see that things are getting bad, if you don't contest and rescue the system, you get destroyed with the system. Read Quran chapter 8, verse 25. Quran chapter 8, verse 25. Surah Al-Anfal. Allah says, "Wataku fitna la tusibanna alladhina zalamu minkum khassa." Fear a trial that will consume not only the wrongdoers alone. A trial is coming that will consume not only the wrongdoers, it will consume everybody. That's why we are all affected now. So when there's a crisis, you don't say I'm an afa. I was just talking to someone how many of our great scholars are dying from COVID-19, you know. So when there's a trial, it consumes everybody. So if there's an effort you can make to make things easy, you know, for people, you quickly do it. I give you a scenario. And I've said this several times. When I was in the House of Assembly, there's a program in Port Harcourt, and honorable members were expected to attend the program in Port Harcourt now. The flight from Lagos to Port Harcourt is 1 hour. Unfortunately, the flight was still in the air 2 hours after takeoff. The pilot did not tell anybody the challenges he was facing. All of a sudden, he started speaking. And, you know, it was not even clear. The only thing people had was challenges, you know. So he had challenges landing the aircraft. So we all knew that we were there for it. So whoever had not written his will, whoever thought that, you know, fortunately, there was a pilot among the passengers. Among the passengers, there was a pilot. He was taking his dad to a hospital in Port Harcourt. So he was also coming from Lagos. So he now brought out his ID card, gave it to the hostess and asked her to go to the cockpit and then show it to the pilot so that it would allow him to come there. She did, and the pilot allowed him to come. It was that passenger pilot, I call it pilot passenger or whatever, that Allah used to land the aircraft. Which is a lesson I've always given to people, that if you have someone who is competent, who knows how to do something, don't be quiet, don't be silent. So that is one scenario. Otherwise, by now, you will not even be inviting me for any program. So that's just to give you a scenario. Then people do not also know that what Prophet Yusuf did, you can do. Prophet Yusuf in Quran chapter 12, verse 55. Quran chapter 12, verse 55. He said, make me minister of finance. I will not steal your money. Make me the custodian of the resources. I will not be corrupt. This is how the campaign should go. You are following, you know, you follow all the prophets. So it says, Qala ij'alni ala khaza'in al-ard. Inni hafizun alim. Appoint me over the storehouses in the land. Indeed, I will be a guardian, someone who will protect it. That's the kind of thing that we should be talking about. Not to tell us that why are you going into politics. We need people who will not steal our money. But what did Yusuf ask compared to what Sulaiman asked Allah? Have you seen somebody who printed a poster and said, oh Allah, give me the kind of position that you will not give to anybody again? President of the world, president of jinns, president, subhanallah. Go and read Quran 38, verse 35. Quran 38, verse 35. It says, my Lord, Roqala Rabbi, Egifirili. Sulaiman said, my Lord, forgive me. Wahabuli, and grant me, Mulikan, a power, grant me a kingdom, grant me an authority, La yambagi li ahadin min ba'di, that you will not give to anybody after me. Subhanallah. Innaka antal wahhab. Oh Allah, you are the bestower. So my brothers and sisters, this should give you the confidence and the authority to ask for position. But at the back of your mind is that it is a position that may be a source of regret for you on the day of judgment. It's not a position you just take and then you laugh. It's a position that you take with all sense of responsibility. I want to use it to serve Allah. So if I ask you, what's your interest in going to politics? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. You know. So you are here to serve Allah. So it must be for the purpose of serving Allah. What should you do as a Muslim politician? As a Muslim politician, one, when you are seeking for power, do not be aggressive. You will not be aggressive because you know power is in the hands of Allah. Allah gives to whoever He chooses. You can stop me whenever it is time, because in my mind I can speak for 3 hours. So, and you know, because it's a turbulent period, and you really need people to get to the root of what we are talking about.
Thank you.
So,
we have about 10 to 12 minutes more to go.
No problem, no problem.
Jazakallah khair.
So what should you do? You should not be aggressive. Why? The moment you join political party, for example, in Nigeria, you're already participating in politics. The moment you are in your environment, participate as a tenant, participate in the well-being of the other tenants, and then of the community, of the streets, of your group. Participate in leadership position. That's how to be. So, because you participate from the lower levels more effectively than going up. Because if you are going to account for everything that you do, so either at the CDA level or the CDC level, Community Development Association level, Community Development Committee level, or at the local government level, or you become a ward councillor. A councillor is somebody who is governing the ward. Then from there, a local government chairman. From there, a honorable member. You understand? A honorable member of the House of Assembly, where you are going to account for all the people in your constituency. That's a state constituency. Then you also have a federal constituency. Then you have a senatorial district. Then you have the governor governing the state. In all these, there are different levels of participation. So you should not say that until I get a particular level. Look, there are people who fail to manage different levels, and that is what has resulted in the nationwide failure. In the hospital, for instance, someone is appointed to manage the hospital. You are a politician already. That's political power. How do I manage it to ensure that the resources? So when everybody sits down to talk, not knowing that they are part of the problem. So in any capacity you see yourself, you are playing politics. You are making life easy for some people. You are relieving people of stress. And the aggregate of that is the well-being of the nation. So should politics take us away from Islam? Or should politics take us away from humility? Should power now take us away from things that we were used to? Salat, zakat, like when I started preaching. Those in politics did not know that I've been preaching even before entering into politics. You know, things that can make it easy for you as a politician, a Muslim politician, is do not toy with your Islam. See Islam as gold and see politics as trial. You need Islam to navigate the turbulent waters of politics. One verse that will give you strength is Quran 22 verse 41. Quran 22 verse 1, verse 20, Quran 22 verse 41, Surah Al-Hajj. Almighty Allah says, Alladhina immakannahum fil ard. The Muslim politicians, they are those who, when they are established on the earth, aqamu salat, they still continue to perform their salat. They still continue to do their zakat. Wa amaru bil ma'ruf. They continue to preach. So when one governor asks me, you are a commissioner now, you cannot be preaching. You are not a commissioner for Muslims alone. Say, Oga, that was what I told him. Allah says, I open this verse, Allah says I should continue to preach. So that is very instructive. Then another thing that you need to also know is that your politics is about justice. You is about justice. Go and read Quran chapter 4, verse 105. Quran chapter 4, verse 58. Quran chapter 4, verse 135. So in Surah An-Nisa alone, you have 105, you have 58, you have 135. Then you also need to look at the issue of transparency. Anybody who wants to do politics must emulate the character of Muhammad. Very humble. He is the servant leader. People play politics with that word. Because Sayyid al-Qawmi Khadimu, you should see yourself as serving. So as a servant leader, you are not the one who is to be served. You are to serve others, knowing fully well that you are going to account before Allah. Quran chapter 5, verse 8 is very important. So I'm just summarizing. Now, Quran chapter 5, verse 8. The direct verse against bribery and corruption, which you see around this, Quran chapter 2, verse 188. Quran chapter 2, verse 188. Because there's no time, I cannot go through all this. The hadith of the Prophet is that kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ulan ra'iyati. All of you are shepherds, and all of you will be asked how you have tended your sheep. But of course, what are the qualities of the Muslim politician? So let me just summarize the quality of the Muslim politician. One, his intention must be to serve Allah, Then number two, he must understand that power is in the hands of Allah, and any position that Allah uses to test him is determined by Allah. So there you write Quran 35, verse 2, Surah Al-Fatih, where Allah says, whatever Allah has determined will be yours, nobody can take it away from you. When Allah has withheld something, thousands of people cannot give you. That's why they can vote for somebody, but the person is going to die that day. So only Allah has the tenure in his hand. So Muslims are accountable. Accountability is so high, on this scale. And of course, then of course, like we say, what you don't have, you cannot give. Anyone who wants to give good governance must govern himself well. Anyone who wants to show leadership must lead himself well. Then number 4 is building the builders. Muslims, we need to build the builders instead of the building. We have all concentrated on the building. Nigeria is the building, but we need to concentrate on the builders. So build the people who will build the nation. So we need to really talk about the human beings and then mobilize them, give them the right orientation. So the builders, the human beings, are the ones to be discussed, not the building. Nigeria is not the issue. So we need to now look at what manner of righteousness and piety do these people really have acquired. The next point is knowledge of the Quran. To be a strong Muslim politician, you need knowledge of the Quran. It is not negotiable. That is what will assist you, because you really need to know what your Lord has said about this, and there is no aspect of governance that I cannot give you references from the Quran. Is it judiciary? Is it legislature? Is it whatever? So then also emulate Prophet Muhammad. That's the next point. Emulate Prophet Muhammad. And as a leader, the next important point is lead by example. So if you have people under you and then you want to lead them very well, do what you ask them to do. That's Quran chapter 2, verse 44. So you are telling people not to take bribe, but then you take bribe. All those police officers on the road, they have someone that they deliver to. If there's no one they deliver to, they can never collect. And if the person who has sent them will always sack anybody who collects, they can never collect. So when you see them, then there's something waiting for them. So then in all our dealings, we should be contented. It's about contentment. Understand that life is about contentment. So there's really no difference between one person and the other. Remember death is another point. A politician who remembers death always understands fully that every opportunity that he has, Then the next point I want to give you is the role of parenting. We can start building our children from now. creating time for them, sitting down with them. These are the leaders of tomorrow. So what are we investing in them in terms of giving them leadership quality? I went to a house, a very poor family in Shomolu, a very, very poor family. You know, they have 3 children, you know, and you can see poverty directly. You know, when I was going, I gave them money, the children refused. Subhanallah. Come and see training. The children refused. Children who have learned that at that age, you know. So let parents understand their role. Then to political office holders generally, don't think we can, when you are talking about change, there's a big bang change. There's a big bang change. And there is incremental change. Big bang change, incremental change. Nigeria cannot have big bang change. It is incremental. We change the process one after the other. Then religious leaders have a role to play. Everyone who governs any sector is an adherent of one religion or the other. So when you stand at the minbar, do you stand to collect money from political leaders? You make them chairman, you make them chief launchers. You want to build a mosque, you make honorable commissioner chief launcher. This is how we have destroyed the system, because they are going to steal. You do not have to make them chairman, special guest of honor. We create further problems because indirectly we are challenging them, you know, that we expect you to do this. Many of us, we get it wrong, thinking that now, that's how we are also guilty of corruption. Then professionals generally are all politicians. If you're a lawyer, you have a great role to play in the system. If you're a doctor, you have a great role. There's no profession. Journalists, there's no profession. So as professionals, we have, you know, role. The other point is you must surround yourself by good people, right companionship. Anybody who must govern well must be surrounded, because there are people praising you. There are people telling you that what you have done is right. But if you are surrounded by the right set of people, then it's very important. Then there is private sector corruption also. And then the role of the social media and so on. Effectively, let there be communication. For example, in Nigeria now, there is no communication between the governed, you know, and the government. Government must be able to communicate.
About 2 minutes
Government communicates effectively. The government will be able, for example, I tell you something about coronavirus, for instance. I know I've heard you, so I'm going to stop. About coronavirus, you see that in Nigeria, we take it for granted, you know, that there's no corona, there's this and that, you know? And, you know, it's worrisome because it exists. So why is the level of compliance so low? It is because the communication is so low. Now, there's an atmosphere of mistrust. Nobody trusts anything here. Nobody, even when government says anything. So if you are governing a set of people that do not trust you, so what should you do? You should communicate more effectively. If there's a patient suffering from coronavirus, checking under the machine, show them when they die, show them when they are taken to the. If an average Nigerian sees, you know, he has seen today, he has seen like 5, nobody will teach him before. So it's about communication, being vivid abroad. Showing you vivid pictures does not mean they are stupid. They need more people to get it straight to their head, and that affects a lot of things. So on this note, I'm going to stop here, and I hope that you've been able to derive 1 or 2 things from this lecture, that Islam covers politics. It covers every aspect of our life. Whether you like it or not, you are consciously playing politics or unconsciously playing politics. Play it well so that in the hereafter, you will be among the companions of the right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan to our Sheikh. We really appreciate your time, and I'm sure a lot of us would have picked a lot of lessons and addressed some misconceptions after listening to those words of wisdom. Before I begin to take questions, as I said earlier, please kindly drop the questions in the chat box. Let me just also reiterate, we may not be able to answer all the questions, but we'll try as much as possible to squeeze in a number in the 10 minutes we have for these questions. But before we just go into that, we missed, for some of us, we probably don't know him very much. Especially maybe those not within the shores of Nigeria, for some of us. I just want to quickly make mention of some of the profile of our brother. If I decide to go through all, we would not leave here in the next 30 minutes to 1 hour. So I'll just go briefly into his profile. Our brother graduated from the University of Lagos after studying law and proceeded to study his master's also at the University of Lagos. He obtained his doctorate degree in law and legislative drafting from Nigeria Institute of Advanced Legal Studies. He has a master's in business administration from the Business School in the Netherlands, a master's in public administration from the Lagos State University, a master's of science in management at the University of Liverpool, Masters of Arts in Marketing and Innovation at the Anglia Ruskin University. He is a fellow of several institutes of management and governance, both within and outside Nigeria. And he's been able to translate all his knowledge into reality and practicality by engaging in politics. And some of the positions we know he's held are, is a former honorable special advisor to the governor on politics and legislative powers bureau, former honorable member of the Lagos State House of Assembly representing Oshodi Isolo constituency 2, former chairman House Committee on Education, Lagos State Assembly, former chairman House Committee on Local Government Administration, former chairman House Committee Judiciary, and also is the chief imam, Lagos State House of Assembly, amidst many others. Inspiring, I would say, and is actually leading the way. May Allah continue to grant him wisdom, give him guidance, and forgive him all his sins. His nickname, by the way, is Honorable Iyebe. Without wasting much time, let's go straight to the questions. Honorable, are we ready? Assalamu alaikum. Honorable. Barrister Lakim.
I think he's muted, but maybe we could just carry on with the questions, with the first set of questions.
Okay, the first question is it right for Muslims to create a political party and uphold the Sunnah?
Hello?
Yes, the first question, is it right for Muslims to create a political party and uphold the Sunnah?
A political party? And
yes.
What?
To uphold the Sunnah.
To hold the Sunnah.
Yes,
yes, you can create a political party, but you will not give it a Muslim coloration. It will not be registered. So you can create a political party, you know, that will have the values of good governance, you know, values of Islam generally, but then it must be done in such a way that it accommodates people who are not Muslims, because Nigeria would not register a religious party. So that's the law in Nigeria. So one has to be diplomatic and strategic about it. It is something that can be done. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The second question, can Muslims participate in politics built on democracy? And to tie to that, I just want to add, you did mention this, this while you were talking about people trying to dissuade others from saying we don't ask for leadership. Can you kindly just elaborate on that along with this question, that can Muslims participate in politics built on democracy? And
yes, Muslim can participate in politics even built by autocracy. Wherever you are different. That is it. The process of getting there is not the issue. For example, you have been born into this world. Did you participate in the process of coming to this world? No. But when you arrive, you start doing things well. So wherever you are, it's not the process that matters. It is the product, the people who manage the process. Because if you do it well, eventually you and others will be able to recreate the process. But to see the process and abandon it. For example, all our schools were not established based on Sunnah. All our schools were, many of us were taught by Christians. Many of us were taught by idol worshippers. But we took from them what we think will benefit, and then we have started using it the right way. So those who talk about the process it's contradictory, because they're not supposed to exist at all, because their entire life is governed by the system, and that does not make them sinners. So when you are a member of a household, for instance, you are a tenant in a house of 24 people, you cannot say the process I want to use here is Sharia before you can govern the cleanliness of the house, the neatness of the environment, the payment of a NEPA bill. And no, you won't do that. You will agree, there will be a common agreement, because among you are Jews, among you are Christians, among you are idol worshippers. So there is always a common agreement, and that agreement does not violate any law. So the Nigerian process that we witness currently, it is about you. You have been made the counselor, appointed by someone. The process of appointment does not matter. Now that you have been given, or what you will now administer in that place will be something that Almighty Allah approves. It's only when you see that, oh, the process of getting into power involves killing people, that you will not do. It involves buying alcohol, that you will not do. Giving people money to buy Indian hemp, that you will not do. So you have rules and regulations that are very clear. We don't just make a general statement that this process, so that is not the way to look at it. It's to know that you are already in the system. How do we participate? We can participate to salvage the system. We cannot just say that because it is not built under Sharia. Sharia did not specify most of the things that people are talking about. You relate with people according to their own leanings. That's why you don't force Islam on people who are not Muslims. So when you have to live with them, you come together under a common agreement, and then you will be able to ensure that you excel, in the assignment that you have been given. So, wallahu alam.
Okay, thank you. Next question quickly. This, I think, is related to part of your innovation. The question says, you came up with an idea of boxless leadership, where you want to build 21st century leaders that will think, outside the box. When is the academy going to commence its program?
Well, the academy is not my idea alone. In fact, many of you are going to participate as facilitators later in life. We have a group of brothers who believe that they want to give back to the society. So each person will handle courses in his own field. The first course, which is on entrepreneurship, will be handled by our brother who is an expert in entrepreneurship, Brother Lukman Abdurrahim. And that's coming up in January. We have said in January, but you need to be patient. He's trying to upload his videos very well. And I think by 15th January or so, they should be able to communicate with everybody. So it's about some brothers who feel, okay, I teach strategic management in London. I want to give back to the people. So it's not just about me, Yes, it's my idea, but many people have bought into it, and each person will handle his own course to assist people. And also because it is going to be free. And it's difficult to operate anything that will be free, because now if we must set up the system, it is in dollars, it is in pounds. Therefore, we want to make sure that we use the system that will not cost the lecturer a penny, and will also not cost the students a penny. So we want a situation where everything will be seamless. That's why we created a Telegram group. So it costs nothing to set up a Telegram group. In that Telegram group, eventually you'll be given a link to his video, which will be on YouTube, you know. So it becomes very easy for everyone to learn in a manner that is no longer going to be expensive. They always spend a lot of money to acquire knowledge, but then we can also give back to people without asking them to pay. So that is the whole idea of Boxless. Many people are involved, and from time to time, each product will be introduced. And for example, currently now, we have about 3,700 people or 3,000, yes, who will be taking part in the entrepreneurship program by Dr. Lukman very soon. Yes, next.
Yeah, because of time, we would have just one more question because we still have. So, in the light of those of us who live in diaspora, how should Muslims view, or what should be their role in the light of what the current president, President Trump, how he's managing the politics currently in their country?
Well, Trump is not different from an average Nigerian also. Anybody who disobeys Allah, anybody who does not regard the guidance of Allah, who believes that he is above all else, he would always meet with doom, you know, and because Allah does not guide the unjust. So all that you are witnessing are predictable. So whatever, if you are on the right path, you witness, you know, prosperity. If you're on the wrong path, you witness perdition. And the story of America is not just about Trump, you know. Trump is just a trial for them. So I think it's T for T. They have destroyed many nations, just like Russia and so on. And Allah has a way of getting back, you know, to all these people. That's why there's one hadith of the Prophet that says, if all of you gather to disobey Allah, Allah will appoint someone who will disobey all of you, you know. And whether you like it or not, it will change a lot of things in your record. So Trump has succeeded in bringing America to disrepute. He has succeeded in, at least look at the way he managed their corona for them. So and everything went sour. So what we should just always do is that Allah guides the righteous, and Allah continues to guide us. So wherever you are, whether you are in diaspora, everywhere is governed by Allah. Make sure that when you are given an assignment, you do it to the best of your ability as a leader. So it is not the counselor or the commissioner that's a leader. Everyone is a leader, and you lead well, and Allah takes you to task in respect of the assignment that you have been given. May Almighty Allah make it easy for all of us. I thank you for your time, and I'm very grateful for your attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given our brother wisdom and guidance to be able to see us through these lectures today. I believe that we've been able to gain a lot, learn a lot, and like some of us already have some misconceptions changed. We pray Allah to help us to maximize the benefits and blessings of this lecture. Without wasting much time, we also want to say thank you and Jazakallah khairan to our Sheikh and brother. We'd like to go to the next segment, which is a webinar to benefit us from our a member of a medical alumni on health tips. Our lecturer will be Dr. Taiwo Zainab, who is a graduate of LASICOM and currently works as a medical officer. She's married with kids, and we would want Dr. Taiwo Zainab to kindly take the floor for us. Please unmute your mic. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh.
Okay.
So, do you have any slides to share?
Yes, I do.
So you can just share your slides. Tech support, can you allow to share slides, please?
She can go ahead, please.
That you know. Baby. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Okay. Can you...
Sorry, is there any problem?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, can you see my slides now?
Yes. I think you need to put in full screen.
Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I'm Dr. Zainab Taiwo, and I'm talking about lifestyle disease prevention.
Dr. Taiwo, if you can just change your position. The network is a little bit slow. Dr. Taiwo, can you?
So these are long. I can hear you. Hello? Okay.
We can't hear you.
Hello.
We're struggling with the internet.
Well, I think we need to challenge engineer Staba Aliamin and engineer Ismail Abilamin. What happened to our network?
Hello?
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So I said we'll be talking about lifestyle modifications in disease prevention. So I said we'll start with the definition of lifestyle modifications. And I started by saying these are long-term habits that are inculcated and maintained for a long period of time. They are healthy lifestyle choices that we make in improving our health. So these modifications, they include altering our diet and or physical activities, and they can be used in the prevention or treatment of some non-communicable diseases. So lifestyle modification, why would we need to modify our lifestyle? Is there any reason or is there any need for us to do that? So one, there's this popular saying that prevention is better than cure. Well, it's not only better, it is also cheaper than cure. Another reason why we should look into modifying our lifestyles generally, it's also that it's prolong our life expectancy. A study was carried out in Harvard Teaching Hospital and some other hospitals, and it shows that I think they followed about 30 people, 117 people, 173,000 people, health workers to be precise, and they followed them for a period of 30 years, and they noticed that those who maintained healthy lifestyle, they lived longer than those who didn't maintain such lifestyles. And the behaviors that we used in checking what defines an healthy lifestyle and what is not an healthy lifestyle. The behaviors included having a healthy diet, not smoking, being physically active, moderate use of alcohol, and not being overweight or obese. So these are the criteria they use in measuring what a healthy lifestyle is and what a non. And they realized that for those that participated in the studies, about I think they lived 12 years longer for the males, and the females lived about 14 years longer for that particular study. So, like I said earlier, this lifestyle modification, prevention of, and some treatment of non-communicable diseases. These are diseases, the leading cause of death and disabilities globally currently, more than 3 in 5 persons worldwide. They are also responsible for more than half of the burden of disability. Hypertension, I know we all know someone who has hypertension, family members, relatives, friends, diabetes mellitus, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, stroke, osteoarthritis, and as well as some other cancers too. And in recent years, we've been having a lot of increase in these cases, and not just affecting older people, also the younger generations, the young people, people in their 20s, 30s, coming down with stroke, hypertension, diabetes. So there's been an increase. So I think there's a need for a wake-up call for us to do what we can in preventing these diseases. So what are the risk factors for having these diseases to start with? We have two. The risk factors are divided into two. The first ones are the non-modifiable risk factors. These risk factors, there's nothing you can do about it. That includes our age. You can't reverse your age, so there's nothing you can do about that. The gender, genetics, our genetic compositions, there's nothing we can do, and our race, we can't pick. But we can't pick any of these. Then we now have the modifiable risk factors. Most diseases, most non-communicable diseases, they've been associated with these risk factors I'm going to mention now. Physical inactivities, just sitting in a particular place for long, always driving, no exercise at all, no form of physical activity, not just even exercise, but having a sedentary lifestyle, having unhealthy diet, use of tobacco, excessive use of alcohol, air pollution. This also includes the indoor air. Sometimes maybe some people cook in the cooking, smoking of things within the house can affect the quality of air in our house. So then also high body mass index, that's the IBMI, which is being over expected to do. What are the changes that we need to make in altering our lifestyle? So one, we need to be intentional about our health. It's not just about, I know they say that we should eat balanced diet, we should exercise. It's not just about that. Having the knowledge is one, but we should be intentional about taking care of ourselves. As Muslims, we have our body, and it is our responsibilities to take care of that body to the best of our abilities. It is one of the rights our body has over us, for us to take care of that body to the best of our ability. And so we need to make an intention. We should be intentional about it. Like, okay, I need to change my diet and I want to achieve this with intention and be purposeful about our health and diet. So other things we need to do, avoiding unhealthy diets. So what constitutes an unhealthy diet? A meal that is high in fat, any form of fat, even trans fats, saturated fats, any meal that is high in fat, any meal that is high in processed sugars, excessively processed foods, packed foods, and high in sodium with little intake of fiber. Even also meals that are even high in red meat, because most red meat also are usually high in fat. So those are things that constitute that. Those are the type of diets when you eat them regularly, it constitutes an unhealthy diet. Then what we shouldn't smoke. Well, as Muslims, I believe nobody is smoking, but this is not just restricted to smoking alone. Even secondhand smoke. Maybe you have a friend or someone who is always smoking, and you're always within the vicinity of that person. That can also affect your health. So you need to stay away from such. So not smoking and not smoking secondarily or passively. Then maintaining a healthy weight. Not using alcohol. We are Muslims, okay, so that shouldn't be a big problem for us. Then being physically active. Being physically active involves forms of exercise. It doesn't not necessarily. We don't necessarily need to go to the gym for us to be physically active. There are simple things we can do to make us more physically active. We can jog around our environment. If we live in a story building, we can run up and down the stairs, use more of stairs than elevators, walk more in the environment. Let's say you want to get something down the road, rather than taking your car there, you just walk down there. So that increases your physical activities. Skipping within your house for females, you can just stay inside your apartment, then skip. You can just do that every day. Moderate exercise of 30 minutes a day. It's actually helpful, and it's helpful in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to talk about some common food that we usually eat that most of us don't pay cognizance to, that we just feel it's just normal thing, but they may have adverse effects on our health. Well, the first one is a very controversial one, which is monosodium glutamate, which is popularly known as MSG. MSG is a major component in most of our seasoning cubes. In seasoning cubes, majorly, it's a major component there. And some studies said that there's really no that MSG is safe, that it has no It does not cause any harm. It's totally safe to consume. But there are other studies which also provided evidence that no, it's not totally safe. A particular study, this was even carried out in Nigeria by some nutritionists, and they said that according to their research, they noticed that it induces fibroid in some people, and being African, especially for females, being black alone is also a risk factor for us to have fibroid. So now into it, I think it's individuals. Personally, my opinion is that when we have to, if you continue to take it, it's going to cause harm for you because there are lots of controversies around it. So it's also stated that it adversely affects sex hormones in both male and females, and can cause renal and hepatic toxicity. And there's been a rise in kidney disease recently. So if taking this out of our diet is just the little sacrifice we can make, I think it's not too big to do. It's not a big sacrifice. And there are we've been blessed with a lot of spices and herbs around that we can use to replace this, and they'll still make our food tasty and very, very nice. Then other things we need to stay away from: overly processed meats, sausages, bacon, hot dogs. They are too processed, and they are also they've also been noted to be high in sodium, excessively high in sodium, which is also not good for our health. So then this cooking meat, any form of meat, fish, chicken, over high temperatures. It's been found that when you're cooking foods and you cook them at high temperatures, especially when you let them char and they're touching smoke directly, it leads to formation of heterocyclic amines. And these amines, they've been known to damage DNA, and they are known carcinogens, that is, it causes cancer in some form of cancers. So I think it's better for us to watch what we eat. An example of meat cooked like this, very suya, is cooked over high heat. Even when you're cooking it, the fat is dropping into the oil, which will also produce some polyaromatic hydrocarbons too. Those ones too are also carcinogens, which will now coat the food. So I think the best way is for you to make your food yourself and make sure you are covering it and you're preventing the smoke from getting into the food. So that way suya, barbecues, generally, things are examples of foods like that are usually cooked over high heat and smoke. Then another thing is noodles. I know it's very popular, it's a staple food, but it's excessively high in trans fat and sodium. Even a serving of one pack of noodles has more than almost 70% of our daily allowance of sodium. And most time we don't even eat a serving, we eat more than 3, 4. Some of us, we cook 4 noodles at a particular time. So we're having more than small sodium that we're supposed to be taking in that particular day. So we should try to reduce it to the barest minimum, even if we're going to indulge in this diet. Then another common thing we do is overeating our oils. One oil, a particular oil, we used to fry meat, we used to fry fish, we used to fry puff-puff, we used to fry chin-chin. When you overeat oils and we are reusing it leads to different chemical reactions in the oil, such as oxidation, hydrolysis, and polymerization. And these products are also known carcinogens. So we should try as much as possible not to eat our oil over smoking point. But a lot of our diet are usually made in that way. For example, now when we're cooking our ofada sauce, we even bleach the oil. And bleaching the oil, when you bleach the oil, you've passed the smoking point of the oil, which will lead to all these processes I just said. So it's not things that we should be consuming a lot of we should try not, even if you want to make it. So the best way, I think, is still making your own food yourself. That way you will know what you are doing. You won't end up over bleaching your oil or making the oil pass the smoking point. That way you won't be eating in toxins, thinking you're enjoying life. Then burnt food too. When we eat burnt food, something about so it releases a lot. There are a lot of chemical reactions. it's not sweet if we are not eating the burnt part, but they are not really good for our health, and they are especially when we do them a lot regularly. Then excessive use of carbonated drinks that just like I said, things that constitute on a diet, on healthy diet, high in processed sugar. Carbonated drinks, they don't have any nutrients in them, no nutrients whatsoever. It's just sugar, pure sugar. So that can even lead to an insulin spike and all. So they are not things we should be taking regularly. Taking it once a year, though all these things I mentioned, it's not like, oh, I'm not saying you should never eat your suya again, but we should, or barbecue, or you should not eat your ewa going because of the epo, the over because you're going to bleach the oil. But the issue is we should tend to make when we cook our food ourselves, we tend to make it better than when we are buying food from people. Then also a healthy lifestyle generally does not consider every time I'm eating healthy food, and I'm not just say just be eating it's not to say we should just be eating only leaf, and I'm not saying just eat leaf, but we should make our food wholesome. When we are eating our grains, we should make them whole grains. Like when you are whole grains, we should eat them completely, not that we will now remove some shaft out of it and throw it away when the shaft actually contains a lot of the nutrients. We should sorry?
About 2 minutes more, doctor.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Thank you.
So the ratio is at least 80% of the time we should ensure that we have a healthy diet, which includes wholesome whole grains, more fruits, more vegetables. We exercise better. Then 20% of the time, yeah, we can have one of these treats occasionally, but they shouldn't be a regular thing for us. So then lastly, as January is a cervical awareness month, so for ladies, we shouldn't forget to get our pap smear, and we should get vaccines, HPV vaccines for our young girls. Jazakumullah khairan for listening.
Jazakallah khairan to Dr. Zainab Taiwo. That was lucid and brilliant. I'm sure we all enjoyed that. Some very useful information there. May Allah increase our sister in wisdom, and may Allah bless you and bless your family. Next on, we have one of our brothers, a graduate of electronic and computer engineering from LASU. He currently works as a telecom specialist and is an assistant manager at Nokia. Engineer Ismail Abdul Hamid will be helping us with some technology tips. Engineer Ismail, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be sharing some slides.
Texting, can we allow him share?
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
it's visible. Yes, yes.
Okay.
What's the problem?
Kindly unmute. Please, apart from Engineer Ismail, let's kindly unmute our mics.
Okay, so
our mic, sorry. Thank you.
The topic is the ATM cards, our debit or credit cards, keeping safe while using them. Okay, so today we live in a world where we are going cashless and everybody is doing transaction over electronic media. I would like to start with a small story that happened around 2016. I was with one of our brothers. We were into a transaction, and he's currently out of the country, and we had a financial deal. So I told him, when are you sending the money? He said, stars, it will take like 2 hours. I said, what? Just transfer now, just do. He said, stars, you don't know how far. I don't have any online anything. No, I don't have anything. I have to walk into the banking hall and I have to do the transfer right there. Me physically seeing my face that I'm the one doing it. I said, what? But you are a CCIE now, certified, Cisco certified internet network expert, for crying out loud. What? Is there anything you are hiding from me? Say, stars, they can clean your account within seconds. So for him to be sure that his account is safe, You will not have ATM card. You will not have any internet banking. It's not going to enable anything. It's just him walking into the banking hall and doing the transaction by itself. So that is how I would like to start. And that's today now is 5 years on since he said that to me. And I've been very, very cautious with my activities using all these modern financial tools. So, what is a debit card or a credit card? This is just a payment card that deducts money directly from the consumer's account when you make a purchase, or a direct debit when you use a machine, automatic teller machine, which is called the ATM. So the ATM is like it's linked directly to your account details in your banks, and then you are given a card. There is used to be arguments whether there's difference between an ATM card, a debit card, or a credit card. An ATM card is strictly used while you are the ATM machine. But by the time you have financial gateways logo embedded on your ATM, like Visa, MasterCard, and American Express and the likes, then it becomes a debit card. A debit card where you cannot have an overdraft. That is, whatever is available in your account is what you can purchase with. That's your debit card. Then when it's that you can have an overdraft, you can buy now without having money, then you have to pay later with some charges, which is often comes as an interest, then it becomes a credit card. This is more visible or applicable to those of our brothers and sisters living abroad. But for some of us here in Nigeria, we use more to the debit card, that is instant deduction from your accounts without any, though we have some charges. Today I was checking my bank details. I saw something charged, like five charges over just one transaction, and I felt these guys are just crooks. So it's not as bad as that of credit cards, where it has to be interest, whether you intend or you don't intend. The scholars have their position. For those of you living there, you can find out. That's not the topic for today. Then for the ATM card, it has a microchip. Before, it used to be a metallic strip, just where the information is like stationary, it's not online. Just like some of us that have been to an hotel, there's a card that you can use to swipe and open the door. In some places, it is also used for electricity to come on. So that was how the ATM was before the introduction of chips. When the chips came on, then it makes the ATM to become what you can use to purchase in a store. You can use it over POS terminals. Then some other places that you don't need to give them cash, or you need to show them your card, and then you make your transaction linked to your bank account directly. So there are some features that were embedded in the cards to make them safe. And one of them is the PIN. After you have made your purchase, you are meant to input a kind of password that makes that transaction to be completed to confirm that you are the original owner. So one of such is the PIN, the personal identification number, which is supposed to be known to you alone. There is a default value by the time you register, 000 or 1111, which you are meant to change before you can do transaction later. Then at the back of your card, the description of the card is it has your name, it has the expiry date, it has the issuer, maybe it's MasterCard, maybe it is Visa, and also at the back is a three-letter or three-digit numbers, which is called the CVV, the card verification value. So this is just a brief description about the card, the origin, and the types. Then we go on to how your account or your card can be compromised such that you lose your hard-earned savings in your account. So the first thing is there's what is called cloning. Your card can be cloned. That is, the information on your card can be replicated onto another card. And that card will perform the same function while you still have your card physically with you. How is this done? It's just to make sure they gather the information. They need your name, they need the expiry date, and they need the CVV. That is why it's very, very important when you lose your card, you need to make an instant report either to your banks, yes, to your banks, or probably to the police. The police might not be able to help you actually. So it's better you deal directly with the banks to notify them that your card is either lost, missing, or stolen. Once these informations can be gotten, a card that can do the same function with your card can be produced, and you need to make sure you safeguard your cards. Never should you reveal the complete number, the card number, about 11 digits number on your card. You are never meant to release it to anybody except you are doing a secure transaction. You are not to tell anybody the CVV, the expiry date, and the name on it. Why this can be done, how can it be done is one, there are some cheats devices that can be used. It can be inserted right into the ATM itself, such that by the time you insert your own card, it doesn't go into the ATM, it goes into that device. That device clones your card, gets all the information on it, and then once you retrieve your own card, they have all the information in a form of soft copy. Then they just download it onto a physical card, then they can use that card. But that is not all. They still need your PIN. Now, another way they can do compromise your card is when your phone is stolen and your phone is not locked. When your phone is not locked, and today most of us use Android phones. For you to use an Android phone to the fullest, you need to have a Gmail account. Your Gmail account is directly accessible from the desktop of your phone. Just click on the icon and you are into your email. With your phone stolen, they can have access to your Gmail. They can change the password of your Gmail using OTP and others very simple ways of changing your password nowadays. So with your email account, they can do a lot of things with your bank account. They can go to your online platform, click get your username, and then they say they forget password. The password will be sent to your Gmail. Once they change the password, they can have access to so many other things. You might be surprised at how come. Just a week ago, I was talking to my neighbor. I said his phone was stolen, and then his wife told him that you need to go and report, so you need to block that SIM. He said there's no way. He has locked his phone. He said when he woke up the next morning, he saw alerts to the tune of about 400,000 naira has been withdrawn from his account. So don't joke with these guys. They are advancing in their fraudulent and hacking techniques every day. And know that there are people who connive with them, insiders inside the banks. And your SIM as well. You have people. I've watched a video in UK where somebody was arrested because he was doing SIM swap without the permission of the owners. SIM swap can be done easily today without your permission. Once they notice that you have a fat account, they can connive and you can do a SIM swap. When your SIM is swapped, all your password, all the changing, everything can be done and it will be sent to that SIM. So please, you lose your phone, you need to find a way to block your SIM immediately. You lost your phone, you lost your card, you need to notify your bank immediately. Also, be careful of free data, 15 gigabyte. You win 30,000 naira. All those funny informations you see on Facebook and on WhatsApp, click on this. Please don't click. These are phishing websites that steal your confidential informations. No bank will tell you to update your bank information by changing password or PIN on that same website. These are scammers. Never respond to such. If you need to change anything, update your bank details, anything, your SIM, whatever, walk into the bank or walk into the telecom store. Don't ever do that via website or over a phone call. People are trying to gain access to either your account or to your mail. And then when they do that, it requests for one-time password, OTP, which should be sent to your phone. Somebody will call you. The new tactics now is they go to your Facebook, they check your profile, they look at the club or society you belong, maybe NASFAT, MSS, maybe MICA. They tell you we are having a program next week and we are doing registration for every single participant so that we don't have intruders. So we'll be sending you a code. When we send you that code, we will call you, you will give us the code, and we will help you enter it and complete the registration. They will tell you the program lineup. They will go and check your schedule. They will tell you Las Mega is doing a program next week, so we are registering everybody. We want to do this, that. Then they tell you, please, the OTP, there's a code that will be sent to you, send it to us. Never ever send any password gotten on your phone to anybody over phone or WhatsApp or via mail or whatever. Never ever, except you are the originator of such request. Don't ever send it to anybody. Then how do you keep yourself safe? Number one is ensure that you have multiple bank accounts. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Try to spread your risk. Have different accounts and spread the money. Don't make a lump sum in one account. By the time they get access to it, they wipe everything up. That's it. But by the time you spread it, maybe they have just one of the accounts, then you are safe. Then number two is what I've learned is any account that you are using for online transaction purchase, maybe it is Jumia, Konga, it is Amazon or whatever, try to make it empty. Empty it, don't put any money there until you are ready to do that online transfer, online transaction. That is when you should fund the account. The most secure of all these platforms is your internet platform. Often it will ask for a password, it will ask for security question, and it will also ask you for a physical hardware token. So you have about multiple 3 layers of security. You can do more of internet banking. It's most secure. But online purchasing, if your card is going to be enabled, then make sure that account that your card is being used is empty. The most easy, or let me say the easiest, I'm sorry to say if I'm going to be saying this, but it's inside now. The easiest bank I've seen to wipe out your money and the easiest bank to do transaction that makes your life so easy is GT Bank. It makes it so easy. Everything is easy for you to do. You don't have headache. I mean, I used to have heart attack when I was using First Bank. Anytime I want to do transaction, it's always difficult. The day I forgot my security question, it took them like 1 month to rectify it. I said, but I only entered it wrongly once, and you guys locked my account. They said it's better for us to lock your account than to lose your money. Said GT Bank, I will have entered like 3 or 4 times before they can lock. But First Bank, just once, you are locked out. So First Bank is more or less rigid but safe. But GT, oh my God, very easy in everything and very easy to wipe your account as well. So if you are going to be using your card, make sure the bank account is empty, and then try to make sure you make it only savings, because with current you can have overdrafts. They can withdraw more than what you have. You even pay for what is not even there when you make online purchase. I have done online purchase before, and my money was not up to what I wanted to buy, and it still went through because it was from my current account, and I have to pay later for it. So uh, another thing is very, very common with our women folks. I'm sorry to say this, but I've sampled the opinions and it's true. Most of our women use their date date of birth as PIN. When your phone is stolen or your card is stolen, they are trying to do transaction with it. The first thing they try to do is get your BVN. They can get your BVN by just dialing star maybe 550. With BVN, they have some bank crooks. They will send it to them. They can get all your information, your name, your address, your date of birth. Then the next thing they try is your date of birth. Once your date of birth goes through PIM, that's just it. All your account is gone. So please never ever use your date of birth. Don't use 1111, 1122, 1133 so that you can easily remember. No, look for something complex and try to master it. Like I said earlier, never relate your one time password to anybody over the phone, SMS, and it's usually a 6 digit number that comes in either as a flash or as an SMS. Then once your phone is or card is lost, please contact your bank or telecom operator so that they can block your account and prevent any financial transaction to take place, because you are no longer uh, in control of that account. And like I said earlier, a SIM swap can be done by the bank officials with your BVN and can access sensitive details of your account. This is most time an insider that aids these fraudulent acts. When using POS, please don't ever lose sight of your card. Ah, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ mo fẹ́ sáré mú nǹkan nínú ilé, I want to take something inside the store, and it goes away with the POS machine device as well as your card. Most likely they will snapshot the front and back. They get your name, they get your card number, they get your expiry date, they get your CVV, they can clone your card. And they have some device that can use to retrieve your pass or your PIN that you have entered. So some banks today, they've devised some other ways where you can circumvent this. You might need to contact your banks. Banks differ from one another. Then for, like I said, GT Bank always makes life easy. Now they've gone to the next level. I don't know some other banks who have done that. You can do your transaction through fingerprints from their ATMs now. You don't need to take your card, whereby by the time you are entering your PIN, somebody is at your back looking at the information and things. Don't ever try not to do your ATM transaction in the night. We've had cases where you have some boys, they will just hang around. Then when they notice you are the only one, once you are doing a transaction, they will come to you, show you a gun, and they ask you to withdraw all your money. So you can use fingerprint nowadays. It doesn't need PIN, it doesn't need your ATM card, just your phone number to ascertain that you are the owner of the account.
Just kindly mute our mic if we're not talking, please.
It's coming from my side, actually.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so lastly is ensure to know how to escalate when these things happens. You need to know your issuance bank email. You need to know their phone number, your account manager as well, details. You need to know their Twitter account, Facebook, Instagram. I've noticed that most service providers will respond to you if you attack them over Twitter. Twitter is their Achilles heel for all service. Nobody wants to be on Twitter wahala. Before you know it, 20,000 retreat. So you need to know their Twitter handle, their Instagram handle, just bombard them. Then you have Consumer Protection Council in Nigeria as well. Get their email. I have once done an online transaction and the platform declined my transaction, but my bank deducted the money, about 20,000 naira. Eventually, the online platform said they did not deduct my money. The transaction did not go through. My bank is saying they did not. Where is my money? Then I have to go and add CPC to the email. I send them email. I was sending them reminder every two days. It took about 24 days. Eventually, they said the money was in my lien, my uncleared transaction. Eventually, they returned back my money. If I had kept quiet, that is how I'll lose that money. But I kept on sending them reminder every two days. Eventually, my money was returned to me. So you need to know how to go about it once your account is being compromised. So lastly, is these are some of the short codes that you can dial in case your card is stolen, your phone, your SIM is lost. You can dial some of these codes. They are over the internet. You can search for them. You can search for your own bank as well if your bank is not here. And then they can actually block all transactions. Then make sure you have a means of alert of your transaction, preferably email or SMS. If it is SMS, once your phone is stolen, you can't get it. But if it is email, you can go to any laptop or desktop with internet. You can access your mail anywhere, so you can see whether somebody is debiting you and you can quickly take an action. If your account does not have a debit alert, then they will have wiped off your entire money and you will not know. So these are just some of the little tips I would like to share with us. I pray Allah make it beneficial for us. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan to our brother engineer Ismail Abdul Hamid. We appreciate the useful reminders and the fundamental and critical lessons on how to safely use, these various technology products we have out there today. May Allah continue to increase you in wisdom, and may He bless all you lay your hands on. Ameen. We're now on home stretch. I just want to use this moment to recognize the president of the Muslim Engineering Alumni of LASU, Alhaji Engineer Abdul Ghani Jawando, and the president of the Muslim Medical Alumni, Dr. Ismail Kamaldeen. Permit me to call on Engineer Abdul Ghani Jawando to give us the vote of thanks. Engineer Abdul Ghani, you have the floor. Engineer Jawando. Is Engineer Jawando still with us?
Please hold on. I think just hold on, please.
Okay.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, we give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has taken us this far on this episode of the Fikr series. We thank all our facilitators from Dr. Abdulhakim Abdul Latif, Dr. Taiwo Zainab, Engineer Abdulhamid, Engineer Ismail Abdulhamid, and Mr. Abdullah Allah was the chair of the occasion. We thank all our members across LASU, Mega, and LMA for sparing their time to be part of this session. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward us all. We thank our facilitators for sharing their knowledge. It was beneficial, and I'm sure a lot of us would have learned a lot of things that will take with us. And we implore us that this is not the end of the series. We implore us to be part of next episode. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all the time we've spent here. Only Allah can reward. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan, Engineer Jawando. Just before the closing dua, I want to use this opportunity to inform us that Sunday, the 24th of January, is going to be our next webinar series, and it's going to be on work, life, and marriage balance by Ustaz Sulaiman Ogumuyiwa. Let's try our best to, be a part of the party. May Allah grant us long life and sound health. Yes, so we call on Dr. Idris Muhammad Awal of the Muslim Engineering Graduate Session for the closing dua.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank Almighty Allah who has made successful for us the 7th series of this lecture. We pray to him to grant us, we pray to him to make useful for the knowledge we have gotten from the lectures and make subsequent ones successful and make it a hujjah for us and not against us on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Wal asri. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asri.
ميزان الله في القصر إلى الذين حملوا عن الصالحات
وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Jazakallah khairan, everyone. Thank you for spending your time with us. Kolon jẹ́ ká máa rí dáadáa báyìí bára wa ṣe pẹ́ o. Kolon fún wa
well done.
Ọlọ́run bá fi àlùbáríkà sí ilé ayé gbogbo wa, àní rí ìdààmú. I've been your moderator today. I remain Kaka Said. Jazakallah. Till next time.